My sweet little Caitlin, it's funny how all this started. You were staying at Missy's as a foster child, and we saw you on occasion. But when you were 3 years old, you came with the rest of the family to our house to celebrate Christmas. We bought you special gifts, and you were the prettiest little girl with those big blue eyes and that blonde hair. And you seemed to fit right in with our family. You took up with Ray and Norma. We took pictures, and later on you went home. And then in the summer of that next year, Missy and her family were going on a cruise for vacation, and they decided not to take you, so they needed for you to find a place to stay for a week. Well, the choices were that you could go stay with another foster family that you did not know, or perhaps you might could come stay with us for that week. Well, David really wanted you to come stay with us. And I was kind of skeptical because I hadn't been around young children in a long time. And I didn't know if I would know what to do or how to do it to take care of you. But needless to say, you came and stayed with us for that whole week. And I give you baths and dressed you, and we went and ate, and I took you to school and picked you up, and we just had the best time. And when the end of that week came, Missy came to pick you up. And it was the saddest time for us because we didn't want you to go. We wanted you to stay. We had just fell completely in love with you. So I was crying, David was crying, you were crying, Missy was crying, everybody was crying. But anyway, you went home. And so we decided to see if we could start getting you to come to our house on weekends. And so we worked that out through social services. So every weekend on Fridays, you would come to our house and we would take you back home on Sunday. Well, after a while, it got harder and harder to take you home. You didn't want to go, and we didn't want you to go. And you would come up with more reasons why you should stay with us. So one day, just out of the blue, we got a phone call. Well, really before that, David and I talked about it, and we decided we wanted to adopt you. And in the past, we had never considered adoption. We just weren't going to have any children. And so when we fell in love with you, that changed everything. So we went through the MAPS class so that we could become foster parents and perhaps get you really soon for good. And so during this time, on a Saturday morning, we had been to eat breakfast with the Honor Guard. And on our way home, David got a phone call from the social worker, who was Jan Odom, and she wanted to know if we were ready to take you for good. And we said, yes, of course we are. And so there was something that happened up at Missy's. Anyway, they decided to put you with us for good. You never would have to leave again. And so you came to stay with us. Missy brought all your toys and your clothes, and we already had you a bedroom fixed. So that's how it came about. And then it took us a whole year to finally get the adoption final. And we decided that we wanted that day to be so very special. So we decided on Valentine's Day and on February 14th, 2014, that would be our ceremony when everything would be final, and you would get to stay with us forever and ever and ever, and never ever have to worry about leaving. And this has been a wonderful journey. And the reason that I'm writing all this down is because David and I are older, and just in case, there's always a possibility that there might something happen to one of us, and we don't want to lose any of these memories. So I'm trying to write all this stuff down so that one day when you're grown, you'll have a fairy tale story to tell to your children.